Okay, cool. So hello ladies, welcome to our team call. It's the 12th of November and we have the lovely Floss who has agreed to come and talk on our call. So I just wanted to, Floss probably doesn't remember when we met, but I first met Floss when there was some kind of event in London where Carl came and did a round table and we met in a coffee shop and I was like, oh, you going to Summit? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to Summit. And you were there with Luke and you were a new coach and really enthused and all this sort of stuff and shared how you used to work in Freemside, which is the building that I currently work in and reside. And it was just so weird. But that's how, when I first met Floss, and then we met again in Summit, and then you qualified for the Marbella trip, which I'd hasten to add was only your, you literally just started coaching and you qualified immediately to get to Marbs. You're a top 50 coach in the UK within the first few months of your business. So I think that that's amazing. You've also qualified for Mexico as well. I'm not going. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm hoping to go. I mean, obviously, who knows at the moment, but I'm still kind of processing it all. It's still very much on I've got the leave booked. I'm going to Mexico. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think you're braver than me. But I think what I really, really love about Floss, and a lot of the time we hear from US coaches about people being like stay-at-home mums or people that have come into this quite differently, but you actually started this business when you were working full-time. You've now dropped to part-time. The other thing is you're in our area of work in the sense that you're a team manager and you're a mental health nurse, and you only qualified a few years ago. And I think you've just got a really wonderful story, and just how you've grown your business so quickly, and you were 1-star diamond quali at one point as well. So I just think, you're rocking your business, your social media looks fab, you are fab, and I just thought it would be lovely to have a different type of call. We're often looking to leaders, and that's what we do, and looking to people that are doing well in their business, but having someone that's done that really quickly in the time that you've been with Team Beachbody is amazing. So yeah, I'm going to pass over to you, and hopefully you can work out how to share. We might just have a few technical glitches. And I have my little wine. It's a Thursday night, we do wine.
That was a good shout. I'm just on the water. I've got work in the morning, but I want to say thank you first and foremost for that wonderful welcome. And hi to those of you that know me, and thank you everybody else that's on. So in that notion, obviously mental health is my career, mental health nursing. So I really am quite passionate about the mindset side of things. And it's something that I often talk on when I share in my team page, because I think it's something that we can all kind of learn from. And I generally love to talk from personal experience, and in this business and in life and in 2020 and everything else, it constantly goes kind of up and down. So that's the kind of thing I want to share. I'm going to share I make slides because I am a squirrel brain. Host disabled, attendee screen sharing, I cannot share. Problem number 1. But I do make slides just because it helps me stay on track, because I could go off on tangents on this topic, most definitely. But I am going to be talking about mindset and just some tips for how I kind of rein those things in.
I'm trying to work out how to do it, Floss. Do you have any idea?
Not a soggy bottom.
Right, more. That is odd. There's normally a thing where it says that I can.
Is it in the 3 things in my? Would you need to click on me?
Hold on.
It's like 3 buttons, 3 dots on people's pictures.
Make host is the only thing I can do. Okay,
you might be able to do that.
I'm going to have to make you the host, and then you should be able to share your screen.
Voila!
You might have people try and come and join. I can't remember. I think Laura said she was going to try and come in, but
yeah, no worries. I'll keep an eye out.
Mute myself.
I did this team call actually not so long ago for my upline, because I'm one of the few UK coaches on their team. So I'm just going to move stuff. So it's got Empower Squad in the background because that's their team name. So goals were meant to be reached, goals were not meant to be reached, they were meant to stretch you. And I'm going to talk about this in a bit more detail. Hopefully this goes across. And again, like I said, this is something I'm really passionate about. So thank you, one, for being here, and also just, you know, being present, kind of keep your ears and heart open, you know, feed off my energy, and hopefully it'll be able to give you a confidence boost that you need, because I genuinely tend to try and speak from, you know, like I said, the experiences that I've had. And whilst all those wonderful things have happened, there have been times when it's been really difficult and life gets in the way. And, you know, it's important to acknowledge those phases just as much as anything else. So look, our social media, obviously we're sharing our journey constantly, we're sharing our health and fitness, we're sharing our lives, and people really do rely on us being ourselves, being authentic, you know, really just vibing off our energy, which is kind of, you know, what we do in these calls and what we do on our social medias and everything else as well. But I really just want to kind of talk about goals as well. And do we pressurize ourselves with those? Obviously, we've got our success club, we've got kind of trying to recruit, we've got all these things that we're trying to do, we're trying to help people get results. It's a lot to juggle, and sometimes definitely I have always like pressurized myself, like I've got to try and hit this, I've got to try and do that, and etc., and you know, really just kind of taking on too much rather than just trusting the process and going through the things kind of linearly. So you get to that point and you just think, oh, do you know, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, like it's getting to the end of the month, I don't know. And just so many times, you know, that kind of pressure eats up at your mindset, and you just think, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. And then you know, the end of the month, you kind of have like a right, no, I am doing this, and you know, you smash your goals at the end of the month. But sometimes you can just kind of go, oh, I don't think I'm going to make it this month, and just kind of step back a little bit, you know, maybe not quite put in the work, and just think, oh, you just dilute your goals essentially. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Because what's the worst case scenario if you do continue trying and you do continue kind of pushing and working through those limiting beliefs and those fears? Do you still win? Because you have a 10% chance that you might get what you want, and a 90% chance that you're going to get something better than what you already have. So I mean, I take that as a win, and that's generally like, if you're putting in effort towards, let's say you want to hit a certain rank, or you want to hit SC10 S Club SC10 in the month and sing some songs, then you know, you're pushing for that, you're doing all the things, and you know, even if you still hit the minimum, the SC5, and you know, you haven't hit SC10, this happens to me every month, by the way, then you still probably have more energy, more focus, more momentum. You know, you're showing up for other people, you're showing up for your team, so you know, you're becoming a better leader. Likely case scenario, you'll still end up making money, making extra money. You can still work towards that rank goal, even if you've not quite hit it yet, you're still making that progress. And again, being the best you can be, because that's literally what we are doing in this job, is working on ourselves first and foremost. So never decrease your targets and always increase your actions. I don't know if you can see me moving people around here. So it's not about diluting our goals. It's not about being hard on ourselves and pressurizing ourselves so that we take a step back. You know, we need to kind of take stock, maybe, you know, give ourselves a day if we need it, but more importantly, we need to increase our focus and our creativity. And I think our ownership and our conviction is one in the same thing, really. Our ownership of what we're doing, you know, being able to map things out, how we're showing up online, our conviction when we're talking to people about the products that we use, the services that we offer, because we're business owners at the end of the day. And I think it's easy to kind of forget about that, you know, and get lost in the worries about what other people are going to think. But actually, you know, we are here to help ourselves, and we're here to help other people. And on Blueprint, it really is as simple as that. And I think if we can stay confident in what we're offering and what we're sharing with other people, then you know, that's going to really help level into all of these things. And I know Hannah's amazing as a leader in terms of sharing like what she's inviting to when, because she helps me out with that as well. You know, having these groups set up so that, you know, it's clear when these kind of invite blocks are. It's just kind of being a bit clearer, but also just being really confident when you're talking to people helps feed into all that mindset stuff. And that ties nicely into, but how are you, you ask? It's not about not knowing what to do. It's just about knowing how to lead yourself. And I'm going to talk about this in a bit more depth. So as a number one is living purposefully. So excuse me a sec. Waking up each day, writing down your goals and objectives and making them really conscious and present in your mind. This is going to help you prioritize your time and energy. And if you're not, you won't have the discipline and the consistency that you need to achieve. Because I mean, this is going to sound ironic because the first year obviously was really great for me, and I was on leaderboards and I had no idea how I was getting there, to be honest. I was constantly messaging people just like, what the hell does elite mean? Just getting up on the points for that. But I'm losing my trail of thought here. But because of that consistency and the energy that I was sharing, it was kind of working for me. But I was also kind of going at it, just gung ho, not really clear what I was doing when, what I was working towards, just throwing stuff towards the wind and hoping it would stick. Which again, we talk about this a lot. We hear about this a lot in coaching. It's talking about that why. And this is really, really clear for some people. It's not really clear for other people. I mean, for me, being a military wife, wanting to be at home or wanting to have the freedom to kind of get up and leave if I need to, despite the fact that nursing's pretty versatile and there's not many places that wouldn't take me. But being able to have that flexibility and obviously being home on, you know, the years that Luke's away for months and months and then comes home and I'm on nights for a couple of weeks or something. So, you know, it's different for everybody, but being kind of clear on what it is you're working for. Is it because you want to work and help yourself and get your own amazing results? You know, how many lives do you want to impact? All those kinds of things. We know about this. I don't need to bang on about why, but just getting clear on that really does help us live purposefully. And then obviously writing that down each day. I use something, I actually have it right here. I use something really good. I've started using this recently. It's I don't know if you can see it because I haven't got my face up. Obviously you probably can, but it's a little best self journal, which is really good because you can kind of write down your bucket list things. You can make a 13-week plan. And you can write down your like 3 or 4 goals, but within that you can also kind of strategize what it is you need to do to get there. So maybe you want to hit a certain amount of followers on Instagram and you can figure out how many you need to get a week, and just being able to go back and read that each morning before I sit down and go and do my invites or something like that. Again, it kind of feeds into that focus as to why I'm sat here, why I'm working. So living purposefully in our biz, live in faith and not fear. So as you're living purposefully and, you know, you're writing down your goals and your objectives and you're remembering why you're here and why you're showing up, you're going to come across obstacles. You'll have to excuse me, I just have my lip pierced and it's doing my head in. It's like keeps bending all the wrong ways. You're going to come across obstacles and things that are going to test your commitment. So you kind of need to make a decision that you're going to attack these obstacles with belief and not fear. Focus on what you want to have versus what you don't want to happen, because you know, manifestation, we kind of know how it works in terms of you really do need to focus on the things that you want to bring about. And the more we focus on, I don't want this, I don't want that, you're sending that energy out. So focusing on what we want. I really like vibration boards. So vision boards are, again, they're a big thing in our whys, they're a big thing in Beachbody. Vibration boards are taking those elements of things that you've already achieved. So, you know, Marbella, there was a bloody awesome picture of a kayak that I put on my vision board that I mimicked in Scotland when I went this year, and just little things like that you can mix up within your vision board. And it's called a vibration board because it already brings about those good feelings that you've kind of, from looking at the things you've already accomplished. So being able to focus on those things that you've already done in the mix of all the things that you want to achieve will help manifest those things. Strengthen belief and faith, focus on the positive, focus on what you can control. This is huge this year, isn't it? I know my voice is going today. But one of the things that has been stable this year, and probably the only thing, and not my business by any short measure, but my commitment to my own health and fitness and my own mindset, and as in the trenches and as up in the clouds that has been at times, those are the things that we control. And I think that's what we're really trying to help people understand at the moment. Or, you know, the people that we're bringing on have been struggling with all the same things that we've been struggling with. And it's about focusing on those things. We can't turn externally right now. I mean, we shouldn't anyway, But right now, especially, we can't turn externally for things to look forward to, and anything like that would normally we would seek joy from. We really do need to be working internally. So I think, you know, everything that we kind of have to offer really does help with that, especially with the meditation, everything we have now. Controlling the controllable. So, you know, don't waste your time and energy on what you can't control. All those things, you know, that I've mentioned. I mean, I know I wasn't really expecting this lockdown, and it's my birthday tomorrow, and I had so much planned this month that I was going to be kind of going out, having fun and doing all the things, and it's like proper bummed me out that I can't do any of those things. But again, it's something we can't control. You know, I've had to do this, and this is something that we need to do with everything, is just focus on our thoughts and our actions around how we feel about that. And then certainly in terms of our business, thinking about where do we spend the bulk of our time. You know, I got told off by Thomas once when I was having a slow coach month, and he said I was glamour coaching really. So, you know, not doing the invites and the follow-up so much, and just kind of focusing on the social media and making everything pretty, because as you can tell, I love doing that. But, you know, where are you focusing your time? Is it feeding directly into those goals and objectives that you've written down, that you're reading daily? Is it related to your why? You know, some things that I do to really help myself with that is set timers, have lists. We've got plenty of lists in Beachbody that we can follow along with that are going to help us be a bit more intentional with our time. And again, with our own health and fitness journeys, you know, where are we focusing on our time on that? Like, I find a morning routine as being so beneficial, despite the fact I've been the late crew with Hannah recently on the workouts. It still gets done. You know, I get up and I get the meditation, and I pull my card and get my workout in and make sure I eat something good. And it might take me a couple of hours sometimes, but you know, it's getting it done and just having control of those things, and giving yourself grace again on the days where that might be a bit more slow, and where you might need to just smash it, get it done before you've got to leave the house for work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, in terms of looking at your business and your life and your health and fitness journey, you can just kind of think about a couple of things, 2-3 things that you might just need to switch up your energy level on a little bit, and just focus on those, and, you know, just focus on maybe one at a time each week or something like that, until you've really started to get into the swing of it, because you will see the momentum build. You know, for me, for a lot of the time, it was the connecting and engaging on Instagram, and ironically enough, it's one of my least favorite things to do. I love kind of having the conversations when they're there, but the going out and the finding people. So I have to be really mindful about when I sit down and when I set my timers to do that. And I try not to make a big thing of it. And I'm like, you know, just 10 minutes, just go engage on some accounts. And actually, when I get into the swing of it, my timer goes off and I'm like, I'm on a roll. I don't want to stop. So, but again, it's one of those things where you've just got to think, what am I wasting time on? Where can I be best spending my time? And what kind of needs to change a little bit? Be patient. You know, being patient with your imperfections. Failing is a process of learning and improving. Failure is actually quitting. So, there's people trying to hop in. Is Fiona's? I'll just admit, pardon me. Yeah, so this is huge. Oh my God, I could do with this little reminder up on my wall every day, really. Being patient with our imperfections, because that's not what we're about. We're not here to be perfect in our journeys, in how we share our journeys, in any of that, really. Because that's what I love about this business, is so many people you know, that I reach out to be a coach on my team, they're just like, oh, I couldn't do what you do. And it's just like, it's not about that, you know. That's the comparison danger zone, where, you know, you see all these accolades, or you see all this, that and the other, and you just think, oh my gosh, I'm not there yet, or you're diluting your goals because you're feeling pressurized. And you know, that's really just working from in your head and not in your heart. So you can just think about what you've learned from those fears and failures, and where are the things that you can develop on again, and discipline your mind. Just always think about what it is that you could be learning, because, you know, rather than kind of comparing ourselves, I've always, from the beginning of this business, looked up to my upline. I adore her, and I always just think, if she can do it, why can't I? And I use that as such a good motivation, because it does what it says on the tin, really. If they can do it, why can't we? I think I'm coming at the end here. Taking action. So on all those things, when you're living purposefully, and I like to just reiterate on what I've gone through in the last few slides, even though I'm probably going to forget now. So we've spoken about goals and objectives, controlling the controllable, being patient with ourselves throughout the process, taking actions, obviously massive, like we can manifest till the cows come home, but until we start taking action, it's not really gonna pay off at all, is it? So as you're progressing, moving and growing to increase your frequency, be more aggressive. And that's kind of just, again, talking about that confidence and that conviction that we are business owners. We are here to support people with their health and fitness journeys. We don't need to pretend to be fitness experts. Some people are, and that's great. But just being confident in, this is the results that I've got. This is what you can also get from achieving this as well. Own what you've learned. And use that knowledge to move forward. I mean, a lot of this content actually was from a Kim Carver call a few weeks back, and that's the beauty of this, is that we get to take what is meaningful to us from things that we learn, and then we're able to share it with other people so that we can empower other people. And no one needs to know that kind of stuff, but that's constantly what we're doing with our social media. I'm constantly on Pinterest when I'm having a down day and I'm like, I do not know what to say today. Go to Pinterest, like Google a quote, something will come flowing, have stuff in the backlog for those days where it is a little bit difficult, or even on the days that it's great and you just need an extra pep. But always, I just act with confidence, continue to grow, don't get comfortable. Because you're entrepreneurs, you're not alone, you have a team. You can always reach out on your team page. It's never something that you're going through on your own. I've made so many connections in this business and got so many little chat pods with different coaches that I've met along the way. And I just think that's the best thing to come out of this. You have a great opportunity and amazing tools to build a successful business, but also it's about building up yourself. That's what we do first and foremost. Obviously, we're working on our health and fitness journeys. We're working on our mindset. We're sharing that with other people. So never just never forget that one bit, because we can get lost in the coaches, in the clients, in the how to edit this and how do I ask that. And it really is just about us working on us and sharing that with the rest of the world. I think that's my slides done.
Oh, I loved it, Floss. Do you know what? There was some really awesome little nuggets in there. Well, it was all awesome, but there was a few things. Like, one of the first things you said was know how to lead yourself. I was like, oh my God, that's so true. Because yes, we've got the team and we've got our wider team, we've got our upline, and that's what, but this is why we do the personal development, because you need to know how to get yourself out of the funk. When you are having a crappy day or a crappy month, you need to know how to push it. Others can help build your strength and you can lean on others for that strength, but ultimately you've got to know how to push yourself out of it. And I know we had a conversation before about the vibration boards, but actually I had a conversation with someone else about my vision board, and actually what I needed to include on there was stuff that I really understood in around, like, the emotions of why things were on there and the feelings that I was trying to get from that. And actually, by having a vibration board and the things you have achieved, because you know those feelings because you've been there and done it. So I've never thought about it like that. So that was really, really lovely. And I really love how you were saying about, just switch up 2 or 3 times and do one thing at a time. Because I do think that sometimes we're getting overwhelmed, or we're like, nothing, this isn't working. And we try and like change absolutely everything. And that's then overwhelming. And that's too much. And it's, you've got to change one thing at a time. It's that changing 1%, 1 degree, whatever, will actually often lead to the better changes, which I
don't think I do anything the same as I did in the first few months of my business. Nothing at all. I'm constantly changing what I do, but the one thing that doesn't change, and I think is the most important thing is the consistency. So, you know, the slight edge, the compound effect, all that kind of stuff. It's the mundane stuff that gets us going places. And if I'm being really stern with myself, you know, I won't even touch my kind of social media or anything like that until the nitty-gritty is done, the follow-ups, the invites, and all that kind of stuff are done, like unless my inbox is booming and all the rest of it. Because I think I've had so many days where I've been like, yeah, I'm working my business, I'm showing up on my stories, doing everyone's head in. And I'm just like, oh, but yeah, I haven't spoken to anybody in my messages today. So again, it's kind of being able to reflect, what am I actually doing here? It is the mundane stuff that keeps our businesses going. It's those conversations, it's the, you know, the regular invites, set yourself a target for the week, and regular follow-ups. That's the one thing that really does cut the mustard.
And I think it's celebrating those small wins as well. And I know that I get a lot of satisfaction over list ticking.
Yes.
Love my highlighter and all the pink that's on me bat. But I think that I get even more satisfaction when I fill in the boxes that I know are the things that are really going to help benefit my business. And I think one of the things, I was on a call with some of our other team earlier, and we were talking about looking and making connections and, you know, all of these people here I didn't know, you know, 3 years ago. Well, I did know Vic, but, you know, well, but the thing is that it's about looking for people that you want to do life with and Beachbody, not people that you want to do Beachbody and a little bit of life with. Because actually, I've made so many amazing friendships, and this is part of the compensation for me, like what we were talking about earlier. And I think that doing all of those activities, that is how my life is enriched. And if I hadn't have done those activities, people aren't just going to drop into your inbox.
Yeah.
They do occasionally, it does occasionally happen, but generally, you know, doing life together and Beachbody, not Beachbody and a tad of life. And that's what I like. Has anyone got any questions? I don't, Floss, how long have we got left? Probably not long. I can't tell because I switched to you as host.
Oh.
Hold on. Has anyone got any questions?
So it's probably a bit of a null and void question, Floss, to be honest, but I'm a mental health nurse as well, and as you saw, I was like, I've worked at Broomside as well. That's so weird. Yeah. But for me, a big thing for me was like my mental health nursing was kind of holding me back with coaching because of all the stuff, especially having worked at Broomside, the boundaries stuff, like mine's very specific, my question, the boundaries stuff and not sharing stuff on social media. And I think like it's only really now that I'm kind of like, actually, is a service user going to be watching me on my stories and all that sort of stuff? It's completely separate in a way. Obviously, we talk about mindset stuff in both professions, but have you found a way that you're like comfortable with it, or has it not been a thing for you at all? If you see what I mean, what my question is. It's a long-winded way of asking it, but you know what I mean. It's the boundaries of mental health nursing and then social media and them not kind of merging.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think we do need to keep ourselves as private as possible, ironically, with a very open public then social media domain. I mean, in terms of who I am and kind of safety breaches on my social media, I'm not particularly too worried. How I share though, I must admit, I do really wish I could talk about my working day. I don't do that. I'll talk about if it's been a difficult day, or you know, I'd love to reiterate sometimes what some of the patients say. But that's the kind of thing that I refrain from. But I like to talk about it because it's that thing that's that relatability, isn't it? And it's probably, you know, it's going to be one of those key points really that helps people relate with you. I know I speak to a lot of nurses on Instagram, and especially the work shifts and stuff like that. But yeah, from a security point of view, It's not bothered me so much. I mean, my name at work is my full name anyway. The only time it would bother me if it was on Facebook, because for some unbeknown reason I got kicked out of my Facebook, and then I had to prove proof of ID to get my account back, and then they've changed it to my real name, because I was always Flossie on Instagram on Facebook as well, but now it's got my full name with my middle name and everything else. And I can't change it. And I'm like, guys, I work in NHS. I'd really rather not have that up there, because I've got a total alter ego. I have lots of colleagues that follow me, but it's not cropped up to be a problem just yet. So
no, and it's not obviously not held you back.
No, it's not. No, it's not something I worry about. I actually would love some of my patients to come and follow me, because it might motivate them to live healthier lives.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Cool, I think acute services and forensic services and things like that, you know, I don't know how interested people are in following fitness pages at all.
Really?
No.
True.
Thank you.
Get them out of bed first.
Anyone else got any other questions? I do have one. So Floss, so if you were a new coach coming into this, you know, like when you found Beachbody last year, like if you had one tip for a new coach, what would it be?
Keep working on yourself first and foremost. You know, just don't lose that excitement of starting something new. We get a lot of launches, we've got a lot of awesome programs, we've got a lot of new things, a lot of kind of team things that we can get in on, super weekends. Just really embracing that community, I think for me was great, because I know I was so excited, and being in a Canadian upline team, I would stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning for my team calls, and you know, I just couldn't wait to kind of hang out with them, because I knew that it was going to be something that was lighting me up. Everything was so positive and fantastic, and I've never been so consistent with fitness in my entire life. So you know, just remembering the fundamentals as to why we're kind of here, and just keep moving with that, keep working on your own health and fitness journey, and just keep showing up for yourself, because I you know, more than anything, we're doing this for us as well. You know, obviously we want to build a business and we want to help lots of people, but I always think it starts with us first. So just enjoying your own journey, definitely.
I agree. I totally agree. Has anyone else got any other questions?
Charlie had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. Go for it, Charlie.
That's okay. No, I was going to ask Floss, you obviously did really, Hannah was saying how well you did at starting the business and things like that. I'm always intrigued, how do you present the opportunity to people? Like, I'm always intrigued whether people do it via like email, voice notes, phone calls, Zoom calls. Like, how do you do it, seeing as you've had such good success quite quickly?
I've done all of those things. I think what
Pigeon post.
Hey?
Pigeon post as well.
Pigeon post, yes.
Keep going with all the different,
smoke rings. I know we've only got a few minutes left, but I have done all those things. I honestly somehow managed to do really well in my first few months with utter cringeworthy cold messages that kind of just detailed, like had some bullet points of, or little stars in fact, of what you could do and you can earn this, that and the other, and I was just like banging them out, and every now and then someone would pick one up. But I do find that personal connection really does help, especially if they're new to you, because I think a lot of the people that I've kind of signed up, they've not particularly been engaging with me for a long time. So having that kind of one-to-one contact, I do really like voice messages. If you can get them on a one-to-one Zooms, there's an app called Calendly, which is pretty cool, because you can schedule out some kind of, you know, or what are they called? Like, I don't know, hotspot meetings or something like that. I'm forgetting the actual language that we use. But you can kind of schedule meetings and things like that. So you can, consults, let's say, and you can post those in your stories and be like, okay, so I've got 8 consults open for this next month's Fit Club. You can give them 15 minutes each, figure out their goals and stuff like that. One-to-one contact is really good. But I mean, how I've invited people really changes over time. I've gone from kind of being really elaborate and talking a lot about what it is that we've got to offer and how it's benefited me. Now I'm much more interested in what that person wants in life, you know, and talking about, you know, maybe making it relatable to my story, how that's happened for me and how it can happen for them as well. Yeah, trying to understand what they're wanting, and trying to work with, it's the perks of being a nurse, work with a quite a motivational interviewing approach. So if you can ask very open-ended questions that make people think about why it's good for them in the first place, you know, so that they stay kind of more intrigued then, I find.
Okay, thank you, Floss. And do you focus more on people joining you fitness-wise, or are you more coach building, or both?
I was very coach heavy in my first year, and for some reason I was rubbish at getting clients, and that has gone on its head this year, and I'm hoping next year it'll go on its head again, because yeah, team building's my main focus, and I would say that went really well in the beginning of the year. So I did my own Instagram sneak peeks where I'd post a few videos just chatting about, and again, this was so imperfect, and when it came to talking about how do we earn money and all that kind of stuff, I'd be like, guys, this is not my forte, like I do not do numbers, and you know, it's just okay to be that genuine and for it not to be all perfect and ready. I think that's the point, is, you know, don't worry about having everything, you know, all your eggs in one basket and getting everything really right, just kind of going for it. And I think people really like that because it's genuine. But definitely it's gone on its head. So I've been much better at getting customers this year than I have been at coaching. But I'll tell you what that is, and this is exactly what I've been speaking about this whole time, is confidence and mindset, because we've got less than a minute. Because like you said, I'd managed to build to 1 star, and then I had a lot of people quit and all that kind of stuff, and that did eat me up a little bit. So it then impacted now how I've recruited. So it's about really working on that, and I'm very mindful of that. But you know, working on it to, you know, hopefully have a really good year next year.
Oh, I love that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Floss. Like, I know it's your birthday tomorrow, so it's really sweet that you, like, if it was the day before my birthday, I'd be
birthday eve.
Oh, don't worry, I've got to be up at 4 in the morning for work anyway.
Oh, bless you. Well, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Floss.
Thank you so much.
If anyone's got any other questions, I'm sure Floss doesn't mind having a message from you, and we'll see you in the virtual gym. So you're not in the virtual gym tomorrow at 9? You're at work?
Work all weekend, yeah.
Ouch.
My wife is my job.
Oh, well, do have a lovely birthday, and lovely to see you later.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Evenings, and see you later.
Bye, ladies.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.